In his 6th active year on the DeliverThat platform, Joel has taken 4,104 catering deliveries, driven over 25,000 miles, and facilitated an astounding $1.5 million worth of food. Considering himself full-time in the gig space, he is also a part of platforms like Bolt, Zifty, and Delivered. We sat down with Joel at City Barbecue headquarters in Columbus, Ohio, to talk all things catering delivery, his preferences on packaging, standout restaurant brands, and the attitude it takes to deliver with success. Welcome to another DeliverThat Driver Spotlight. So your time in the catering industry stretches back a good ways.
Yeah, 1983 or 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was, so I mean...
There's been some differences.
Right, so that's why I want to talk. So like back then, as far as I can remember being in the restaurant industry, like you're talking, we're taking orders over the phone, you got a pen and paper, some sticky notes maybe, and nowadays you got online ordering.
Right.
All this stuff. Like what was it like for you taking
Well,
and
most
making orders back
restaurants
then?
hadn't thought of delivering. So there were more catering companies, and businesses would more often use catering. I don't think Easy Cater was around.
No, yeah, like
3.
2010s maybe.
Okay. So I noticed that back then there were a lot more catering companies and fewer restaurants doing delivery.
Yeah, that's
So now it's flipped.
yeah, that's true. The restaurants are doing it, and
COVID killed
different
most catering
deliveries.
companies. It really did.
yeah, especially like the localized business, and you gotta, especially I mean, that's like the catering companies. A lot of times you're doing like the full service aspect of it too. I feel like where you're staying and you're serving,
right?
And when you have a national
they
pandemic,
do drop-offs too.
Right.
They do platters and things.
Yeah.
All catering companies do that.
Okay.
So, but yes, unlike our job, we don't do any full service.
Right.
It might be something to look at. I mean,
well, we've hosted a couple like here and there upon special requests, but it's very few and far between where we've had someone stay and serve the food. I think like maybe like people from the office have even done it, like because people have asked specifically before.
I would imagine that most people that just do deliveries and drop-offs, they're used to that and they don't want to do full service.
Right.
Because that stretches into hours and your feet hurt and,
Nice.
all kinds of stuff.
Are you retired now? Would you consider yourself retired?
No, I'd consider myself working this kind of gig full time.
Okay.
When you guys are busy, I was doing 5 or 6 deliveries in a day. And with the other companies, if it's slow, like it's kind of been since the beginning of the year, I'd, pick something up that I don't already have with DeliverThat.
What is your initial start in the gig economy? How do you get started in the gig world?
Well, I noticed the pink mustaches on the Lyft cars. Lyft and Uber were the first gig companies.
100%.
And that kind of turned me off on Lyft, but I became an Uber driver real early. I got tired of driving people, so at that time they didn't have Uber Eats. I got on Postmates and DoorDash the very weeks they came to Columbus. Literally, we had live orientation. They gave us bags. They gave us T-shirts. That all changed. You don't get anything for free.
Yeah, no live orientations either, I bet.
Right. Yeah, very little support. I truly like DeliverThat in that you get an answer, almost 100% of the time during the business hours, and that's not the case with some of the other gig companies.
And then so when you go from doing ride share to, we'll call it per meal delivery, and then you sign up for a company like DeliverThat and you go to the catering space where you're used to, one, you're taking people from A to B, then you're taking food to a house or an apartment and you're just dropping it at the door, and now you're taking 400, 500, 600, thousands of dollars worth of food and you're doing the full setup aspect. Like, what was that life cycle of the delivery and gig economy changing like for you? Did you appreciate kind of going through that framework of things?
Yes, I particularly work better independently and have started businesses and done other independent kind of work since my main catering experience.
We talked off camera a little bit about, you said there's like now 5 or 6 companies all in Columbus. What is your activity like on a day-to-day basis with each of these platforms? Is it based on who has the best paying offer that day, who's the busiest? How do you structure your day based on what deliveries you have?
Well, it's rare, very rare, that I would drop a DeliverThat for a Zifty. I'm serious. It would be rare. Everybody is, except Bolt possibly, but all the companies are passing 100% of the tips through.
Right.
So you could still find a $150 delivery on Zifty. I rarely drop a DeliverThat, but it's happened.
Yeah. I appreciate the candidness. We don't have to speak solely about DeliverThat while on this platform, so I do appreciate anything you have to say.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem. What do you look for in terms of a delivery? Like, is it all about the cost to you? Is it what makes sense with your day? Is it the ability to stack deliveries on top of each other? What do you look for when planning out your day?
Well, I tend to take jobs that are any time of the day. So I'm your breakfast guy. I probably do 90% of your breakfasts in Columbus because there aren't that many.
Yeah.
I also do dinners and even 8 o'clock deliveries, p.m. So if I don't have those DeliverThat deliveries during those breakfast and dinner periods and something comes up from another company, of course, I grab it. But and I'll drive anywhere for breakfast or dinner, just because you can't make a living just doing lunches.
Yeah, facts. But you're saying then at lunchtime you're a little more particular on the locations?
Locations, yeah. Looking for stacked orders and picking orders that are the same or similar pay but are closer to me. I live in Upper Arlington. That's just 12 minutes to downtown. Other people live near Polaris. You get a lot of orders from Polaris area, which is, north of town. So I'd much rather get those downtown or Grandview or Upper Arlington. West Fifth Avenue has a lot of restaurants, Bibibop, Buffalo Wild Wings, Firehouse Subs, all those.
Hell yeah. What in terms like listing out partners like that you see a lot of volume with, are there any restaurants that you feel particular about and feel loyal to in terms of you enjoying working with their restaurants and their employees and their deliveries?
Sure. There's a few that I know the managers personally, so that's always nice. Most restaurants, I see different people every time.
Yeah.
And it's not always the managers that bring the food out. It could be just a host, who next time won't be there. But for breakfast, I know the people at a Bob Evans on Olentangy River Road and a restaurant called City Egg. And City Egg, they must only have a couple here and there because it's only one in Columbus. But that manager is always glad to see me because he says, well, you're on time and others aren't, blah, blah, blah. So those are my breakfast friends. Just for a chain, I like Bibibop because they seem to always be ready.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And pry on the
bottom. We just took one the other day. We did have to wait a little bit for the food. I will say that. They had us and Nate and I took that delivery through DeliverThat, and then another one of our drivers showed up. His food was ready right when he got there, but we had to wait like 10 or 15 minutes.
Oh, I've waited up to 40.
Really?
Yeah, and I've taken, I always hate taking food. I'm all about maybe my catering experience, but I'm all about the serving utensils and plates and things. I took a delivery once. This is my sob story. I took a delivery once to a metro park, miles from anything, and it was their wedding reception, so not even a pre. and BJ's didn't include plates, forks, knives, any of that.
Oh, no.
So one of the groomsmen had to drive 20 miles to a Kroger to get, 20-mile round trip, 10 miles out and 10 miles back. I felt so bad. Again, the bags were packed, and I didn't say go through. But that taught me to look for that stuff. I'll expect the food to be there, but I also expect tongs. Buffalo Wild Wings does not send tongs. So you're supposed to pick up
with some forks.
Wings with your fingers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lots send a lot of little cups of sauces and toppings and stuff, and nothing to...
No spoons or anything to get it out.
Right. So I have a whole carload of stuff. Whenever there's extra tongs, I'm keeping them.
Yeah, in case you need them later.
Right. Soup spoons for the sauces and stuff. You don't want to send a big serving spoon with a little cup, because only one or two people are going to get that because they're scooping out a whole bunch. You give them a little spoon and it'll last.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I think the utensils thing is interesting to me too, because some restaurants and brands charge for that stuff.
I know.
So sometimes the customers don't understand that, or they're not prompted, and they don't know that because they didn't order it, they're not going to receive it. So I feel like that's where things get a little haywire.
Yeah. I think most companies appreciate getting the plates and stuff, and I don't think it's good to charge for it.
I would tend to agree, to be honest with you.
I mean, you buy it in bulk. You buy a case of plates. What's one plate cost? About a third of a cent.
Yeah, I was going to say a penny, yeah.
Yeah, it's even less than a penny. So, and same thing with tongs and stuff like that. So,
what do you know the largest catering delivery you've ever taken?
Well, with DeliverThat, I'm sure it was just like $2,000. Now, I know what my car holds.
What does your car hold?
My car will hold approximately 130 box lunches.
On the nose.
So when you get 150 or 160, and I did appreciate way back when Erica would send out texts about large quantities, Easy Cater was giving her the makeup.
Right.
Not the individual items, but
how it
it'll
was
be
packaged.
10 pans or
Right.
160, and I miss that. So if I see a $2,000 order, I'll call the restaurant the day before. Can I talk to the manager? I'm going to be driving your order, and I don't want to have it too big for my car. What is the makeup of it? And they're always happy to tell me. So those are only for the largest. I obviously don't do that.
Yeah, no, I mean, that makes a lot of sense, though. You want to be thorough and make sure that when you show up to the store, you don't leaving without half the order.
There was one time, and I don't know, am I on 5 years in July, something like that?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it's 4 or 5. I've only had one time where I couldn't fit the order, and it was a steak and shake, and again, I didn't know.
Oh, my God, this happened to me also.
I didn't know what it was going to be. I knew they didn't do burger bars, so I expected individual. But
Was it in cardboard boxes, big boxes?
Well, they were in the small boxes, individual, and one I went to, they didn't have any fry boxes or anything. So I had to put them individually in my bags. Get to the, but it must have been another steak and shake. I said, I can't get all this in, so they rushed a person down. DeliverThat rushed a person down.
Got some help.
Right. So I learned.
Yeah, no, that happened. I took a steak and shake catering delivery one time and showed up with someone else from the office, and it was the same thing. It was all in individually styrofoam containers, and they were just in these massive cardboard boxes. I was like,
Yeah.
what car is this box going to go into?
I picked up one where the box was too high
Yeah,
to go
massive,
in my car.
so big. Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me. It was absurd. What when you talk about packaging and making sure that stuff can fit in your car, there's a ton of new packaging nowadays. A lot of these brands are using like the boxes, like the Bibibops of the world, Condados of the world have like the boxes. You saw barbecue brands like City Barbecue. They have the foil pans still alive and kicking.
Yeah.
Do you have like a preference on what packaging you think works best?
Well, of course,
in
pans are
travel?
best because, I'll see an order from Carrabba's that's $2,000. I don't have to worry about whether it'll fit. Or True Foods or another Broken Egg, because I know the restaurants that have the highest cost. Obviously, a $2,000 order from Restaurant A that charges
less food.
It's less food than Steak and Shake,
Right.
which is probably the lowest end, But I like Red Robin and stuff that does burger bars.
Yeah, we had that for our Christmas party. Red Robin burger boxes. It was great. Bright red boxes, fit in the car, nice and easy. Stack them up on top of each other. You're in, you're out.
Right. And although I never unless they're standing and waiting, I don't open lids and stuff, because it might be 20 minutes. The burger bars are nice if I have room to lay them out. Then like the topping one, I put up so that you see the Red Robin.
Right. Yep. The logo.
And I hope that tells them they do it for the burgers. But I hate to do it for the hot food.
Yeah, in case it gets cold, yeah.
So if the contact's there, I'll, say, are you going to unlid these or wait? And usually it's wait. So I'm out of there.
How often are you setting up versus getting to a drop off and they're coming out and just taking the food from you with like a cart or something?
It is actually a little more than 50% just drop off on a cart. It really is. There's many reasons. Secure buildings, contact people that want to do it themselves because they know how they want it. That's usually the line. It's okay. I know how I want to set it up, so just leave it there.
Right.
I don't mind those at all.
Yeah, it makes your life a little easier.
I always wonder if they consider that when tipping, because the tip should be higher if you're going to have the person set up.
I would agree with that.
And
yeah. What do you use like a wagon or a dolly or a cart or anything in your deliveries?
I have a cart that's a real unusual one because I own a Prius. I think that the wagons take up a little too much room compacted so my cart is like an industrial cart that folds up, and I can show it to you later, but it folds up like that. In fact, it even goes into a square like that, and it'll hold 2 bags. It's open-ended. It doesn't have a lip like a dolly, so it can go over a little bit, and I use a bungee cord to attach on one end of the cart, bring it around to the other end, and make sure the bags don't fall off. If I've got pans and I trust them, I'll stack the bags. Couple, have 4 bags. Again, the bungee cord makes sure they don't fall off because you might go up a ramp or hit a bump, in the parking lot or something. So yeah, the bungee cord was a lifesaver.
Is there any other in this industry? I mean, since the 80s you started doing the catering, now you're with actual gig platforms. Is there any other like premier tip or trick that you have for any other drivers out there who might not be aware of it?
Well, the main tip is just be friendly, be considerate, and treat the restaurant with respect, treat the customer with respect. And that tip gets you a lot, gets you a long way with the business. Not everybody can pull that off. You have to go in and have a smile on your face. If you're having a bad day, tough. Don't bring that with you.
Yeah, that is tough to do though. I would agree with that. I myself some days, so like you don't feel the best, and it's tough not to wear that on your sleeve sometimes.
Right, but people are more likely to complain than to give you accolades. So if you're not in there at your best, they might call Easy Cater. Easy Cater will figure out who it was.
That's so funny. Do you have any on the DeliverThat platform, whatever catering platform you want to speak about? Do you have any like best delivery stories or one delivery that sticks out to you where you're like, man, I can't believe I'm delivering this much food, or I can't believe I'm able to drop off at this location? Anything like that in the delivery world?
I can't think of a one because I do so many. I do so many, and I do so many good ones. I like delivering to sports people, and Columbus has Ohio State. It has the Crew. It has the Blue Jackets, and it has the Clippers. And we do the Clippers a lot. We do during the summer. DeliverThat. Easy Cater gets. And they're always a drop-off. They bring a big cart to the loading dock and take it into the locker room. Also go to the Crew and probably have been to 10 different OSU sports. Basketball, wrestling, lacrosse, volleyball, gymnastics, cheer, everything but football. I don't know who feeds the football people. I think OSU does.
Yeah, I'm sure they have their own facility for the football team,
they
own chefs, own cooks, whatever you call it. I had something on the tip of my brain here. Dang it, I thought of it, and then I was listening to your answer, and then I thought of more things. I got it. When you're going to make a drop off, what for you makes that process the most difficult? Is it where to park? Is it finding the right suite? Is it a customer not answering the phone? What part in that process can become the most complicated if you don't have access to it?
Strategizing how to get into the building is probably the biggest hurdle during the delivery process. Because I got to think, am I going to use a cart? Are there steps? Where to park? What side of the building to park on? Sometimes they look identical, but one's locked and one's open. So the logistics of the drop off is usually the difficult part.
Okay. Have you how proactive are you in reaching out to the customer on a delivery? Like, are you letting them know at a restaurant that, hey, this is going to be a little delayed? Are you calling them when you leave the store to be like, hey, I'm going to be on time, but I'm 15 minutes. I'm Joe. I'm with DeliverThat. But I'm delivering for this restaurant brand. How communicative are you with these customers who order the catering?
Any lateness more than 5 minutes, I'll text or call the customer. I'll tell them I will keep you up to date. This isn't the last word. I may send more updates for you. I've often thought to call every customer as I'm leaving, but I'm sorry, I don't do that as present. But it is a good idea to do that. That way, if they have a change of address or something, it's rare, but I've gone to the wrong building because it's what's on my app. So calling the customer ahead of time would be you told me to do something new, and I think I'll do it.
What, calling the customer?
Yeah.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah, because
making strides every day, Joel.
Yeah. Again, I double check their suite number or whatever, and I can always pull up my Jeep, Waze, and tell them I will be there at this time. Because we don't have big traffic jams that keep you from a place.
New
for
York,
20
Chicago,
minutes. Right.
You're sitting still for 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Right. So that's a good idea to call the customer.
But I think I agree with you though that the only time it seems super applicable is when it's going to be delayed. Though I don't think you necessarily need to call every single customer for every single delivery, like you said. I mean, I think making sure that they understand when the food's going to be there so their expectations are met is the key piece of that. Because if they have an 11:15 drop off, but they're not eating till 11:30, like is most typical cases with these buffer times and things like that, but now you're not going to be there till 11:33, maybe they need to move a meeting back. Maybe they need to let the employees know, hey, the food's going to be a little delayed. Maybe maybe they're a drug rep and they're only going to be on site for 15 minutes and they have to leave. So like being over communicative when the food is going to be delayed is obviously very crucial.
Right. Yeah, drug reps are some of our biggest customers, and I do usually call ahead when it's to a hospital, and that's a lot of the drug reps are meeting at the cath lab or whatever. So drug reps, if I see it's a hospital, I definitely will call them.
Yeah, hospital drop-offs are difficult.
Yes. I can usually park close but walk a long way inside.
Yeah, I believe that. I swear I walked 3 miles through a hospital one time. Like went through every door, walked up and down elevated steps. Like it was, and this is like before the wagons really caught on for us internally. So I was just lugging these bags. Oh, I'll never forget that delivery. It was unbelievable. Mm-hmm. It was unbelievable. What I don't know how, Nate, how long have we been going? 28, cool. I want to I think for me, like I want to just give you a moment to like maybe give some shout outs if you're comfortable with that. Do you have any folks you speak to on our customer support team or anyone you talk to relatively often that you want to give a shout out to?
Well, I'm lucky that I don't have too many problems. So I'm not on with Hotline daily.
Yeah.
And I can't.
No, that's fine. Hey, the less problems, the better.
Yeah.
In most
It's not even once a week.
Yeah.
It's less than once a week. So you'll have a little bit of turnover, and therefore I'll probably be speaking to a bunch of different people over the course of months, and I don't remember names that people I don't see.
Yeah, hey, that's what the Meet the Teams
Sorry about that, everybody in dispatch and community.
No, it's not a problem. It's not a problem at all. What about, I know we kind of asked at the top of the show, but you want to give any shout outs to some restaurant brands that you love delivering for?
Yeah, again, Bibibop is one of my favorite. They're always helpful and friendly and have the food ready on time for the most part. I'm glad they went away from the boxes they had for just a short time because they really wouldn't fit in the bags. But they're back to the white plastic bags. Let's see. Well, I mentioned a couple of the breakfast places that I like. It'd be good to get more Bob Evans business. I know they do a lot themselves, and be good to get more breakfasts and lunches from Bob Evans.
Yeah, I'd agree. Any way we can expand ourselves outside of the lunch niche into breakfast and dinners, obviously, that's a lucrative space to get into to build more catering deliveries outside the lunch window.
Bob Evans headquarters is in Columbus.
Joel, I'm aware.
I'm New Albany now.
Yeah, I'm aware. Wendy's is here. White Castle is here. Right. All those big wigs. I'm trying, Joel. I'm trying my best. I'll tell you that much.
Columbus is the food test market and in the Midwest, at least.
Yeah, it's actually it's kind of wild. It's kind of wild, honestly.
Yep.
What in terms of, I mean, you mentioned all these platforms you're operating on: Zifties, Bolts, DeliverThat, DoorDash, Uber Eats. What to you has kept you around the DeliverThat platform for so long? Why is our platform different from the others for you?
Right. Well, I've dropped anything that is just a burger to somebody's door, so I don't do any of that anymore. I just like caterings. DeliverThat, I'm most loyal to, I think, because of the personal attention that's given to our deliveries. Though you're a big company, you wouldn't expect that you wouldn't expect that someone would answer on the first or second ring of the hotline, or that the community people are so helpful. Yeah, I don't find that with any of the other companies. So,
Yeah, no, I mean, we've taken a lot of pride in that. I think our by drivers for drivers motto. I mean, that's we all started. Nate was our first intern. Look at him now. I was a driver. Darian, Christian, Aaron. I mean, you run it up the chain. I think it's easy to understand the plight of the driver when that's what we all did for so many years. You know.
Mm-hmm. No, you understand. Qdoba. I guess that's where you started, right?
Yeah,
delivering
Qdoba.
Qdobas.
That's facts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we just told Scott from City Barbecue. We were talking about Christian's first deliveries. He was a student at Ohio State and was delivering for Qdoba, and he was living off Qdoba because we did gratuities and a free meal with them.
Right.
And that's how he got through college.
That's great. Well, they have their own people delivering, so
yeah,
we only get the scraps.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That franchisee model, we've spoken with them off and on though. What is it already overheated? Okay, all right, we can close it out. All right, Joel. Well, I appreciate you coming in.
Okay,
we're
thank
going
you.
on 2 deliveries tomorrow. 1 delivery,
One or
$1,200
two.
Carrabba's.
No, that's Thursday.
Isn't that tomorrow?
Oh, I mean, that's not Thursday. It's Friday.
Oh no,
Yeah.
you got us excited.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, but we'll get a double tomorrow then. We'll tail you on the deliveries.
Yeah.
We'll get some B-roll footage. We'll see what you got going on. We'll see you bust out that cart you were telling us about.
Yep, cart, DeliverThat bags.
Hell yeah.
All right.
All right, Joel. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.